This is DP, and you are listening to DP Talking Sports this week with Mick and Alan from KBER Radio in Salt Lake City. Enjoy this week's trip around the sports world and entertainment. Enjoy, and thanks for listening.
It's time now to talk sports with DP. Brought to you by the adult. Dude, I wish you were here right now. We got our grown-up Easter egg hunt coming up at noon today, and I wish you could come take part in it, man.
Oh, so do I. I fully understand that Utah and Easter and snow bunnies and all the wonderful things that go on.
And we've got them all.
Deal.
You know what's funny is Al and I have been doing this grown-up Easter egg hunt since 1994. 94 is when we did our first one.
That's right, huh? Because we started together in
93.
like in the summer of '83,
August of July, the end of
93.
July of '93, and so our first
one was
came
'94.
Up in '94.
That's crazy. So this is 20 years of adult Easter egg hunts.
And I have read now 2 other grown-up Easter egg hunts besides ours. One, KSL said they were doing one, right?
No, they were promoting ours.
Were they promoting ours?
Yes.
Oh,
you didn't get that?
No, I thought they were doing one.
You're like, oh, those guys are so silly. No, they were just promoting the different things going on through the valley, and that today is the KBER 101 Easter egg hunt.
I think there's one out in Harriman or South Jordan or something like that. That's because it said the kids will go, and then it'll be the grown-up Easter egg hunt.
Yeah,
I remember the one in Harriman when I lived out there, so I do remember at least whispers of that.
Yeah.
Going on.
Well, I was looking up,
but they didn't have our adult Easter bunnies. I'll tell you that right now.
I was looking up their information.
Nobody does.
Their Easter egg hunt is on the 23rd.
Morons.
Yeah, which is what, Wednesday next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's a reason all this stuff is going on, the adult ones, after I left.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
now we knew
they said, DP's gone? Okay, good.
Now some other people can have fun.
We'll get eggs too. Yeah. Because you're a hoarder. You're a hoarder. You would get the eggs and you'd just keep them all for yourself.
I would not pick one egg. It was not the eggs they'd be concerned about.
And you were so good looking and so sexy that nobody else got a chance.
Yeah, all the ladies would say, I want that chocolate egg.
Well, there you go. If it's all about adult women and chocolates, it's a whole different party.
Now, here's the question. When they grab onto you, do they eat the ears first? Or do they, well, never mind.
They may start at the ears.
That's not the ears.
That's not his ears.
Yeah, they'll start at my ears and then go down and go, oh, the JJ again.
They go, this isn't even white chocolate. What is this?
No, this is dark chocolate. Have your way. Do your worst.
Yeah, okay.
Mine's kind of striped. Mine's kind of marbly colored.
Marbly.
Well, you got the swirl, Mick. That's what they said.
Yeah, I got the swirl.
It's a nice finisher.
Yeah, my dad was half. My grandpa was half. My dad, does that make him quarter?
Quarter.
And then so what am I, an eighth?
You're an eighth.
I'm an eighth.
You're mulatto.
But you don't even know
I'm mulatto.
But which one is your dad? Your uncle's your dad now, right?
Yeah, my uncle's my dad.
So are we sure with that? We're sticking with that story now.
Yeah, my uncle's my
dad. So as of now, your uncle is really your dad.
Yeah, my uncle's my dad, and not my dad. My mom's brother is my dad.
So Mick's got a little street in him. Nice.
Yeah, and my grandpa, who had to say that he was Native American because he married a white woman, would have been lynched if everybody knew that he was African American.
So he said that he would pass. In black terminology, he said he would pass. Most black folks, when you hear about good hair and things like that, they talk about being Indian. Even if they weren't, they would claim Indian.
Really?
And that's
so
what he did.
Get advantage. Yeah.
I did not know that.
And he was the circuit judge, and it was kind of funny because I remember in Wellington, people would get tickets, and they would have to come to his house to pay the tickets immediately. And there was always people knocking on the door paying their fines, and I just remember that. And he wouldn't have been able to be the judge as a black man.
Oh,
and
come on,
so,
really?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so he said, that Indian and a whole lot of stuff was passed on folks who were being Indian who really were just
Now we're talking Native American.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
Right.
Wow. That's amazing history.
And it wasn't that long ago,
No, that wasn't that long ago.
Well, generations of it, and my grandfather was part Indian, but there was a part of it, there was some black good side where you would say that, well, you must have some Indian in you, which meant that you were, fair-skinned, long hair. A lot of that was in place when you were simply of mulatto.
And wasn't that my grandpa when you saw that picture?
Yeah, totally. Interesting.
And my grandma, her husband, she got a divorce, and my grandpa, his wife died, so my grandma moved in with him to help him raise he had like 5 or 6 kids, and after 2 years of living there, they got married. So she was actually like his maid, his housekeeper, for a couple of years, and then they just ended up, let's do this right, and they got married.
You definitely have some street cred. You went old school. Yeah, your family definitely got it done.
Yeah. Very interesting, man.
Yep. Oh, man.
So
that's heritage, man. That's America.
The Jazz cleaned out their lockers. Some of them cleaned them a little harder than others.
Wow. Yeah. Some took everything.
Yeah. Some took
some
everything.
Some scrubbed them and knew they weren't coming back.
Some took everything. Those exit days in the NBA and specifically in Utah are always interesting to me. There are several different ways to go about it, but as players clean lockers and the comments that are made, and sometimes in leaving relationships, and you're talking about where you're uprooting your family, and there's concern about money and where the next job is going to be, if there's going to be a next job.
Yeah.
That's never a fun day.
Yeah. What is it like when that, tell us about when you've been in a locker room on a day like that. What are people joking? Is it a nervous joke? Are people very serious and somber?
It really is. It really is interesting, and it depends on where you are and what who you are and what your contract is. I mean, if you're Trey Burke, you can get through it pretty easily. You kind of know your place in the thing. You kind of know what's happening. But outside of that, I mean, if you're Gordon Hayward and you're not sure where your place in this thing is, you're really not sure in whether you're coming back and whether you're going to be there. Other players who are borderline players, 1 year guys' contracts are up, and then you have to go talk to the management of the Jazz, and you talk to the coaching staff, and you kind of feel out, but sometimes, and often is the case, they have no idea what's next. We can remember the day when, Stockton retired. He didn't announce it. I mean, Karl Malone didn't know that John Stockton was going to retire in that meeting.
That's right.
So sometimes the media is more informed than the players themselves. They know more because it's their job to be connected and to pay attention to that stuff, whereas the players kind of put themselves in a bubble and don't really deal with the media that way. So there's times, quite frankly, where the media knows more than the player about his situation or a teammate's situation.
But that's got to be the strangest thing, not knowing what your life is going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're a star. And unless you're in a long-term deal and you had a great year, and I mean, it's a little different if let's say for this, if you're the San Antonio Spurs, where you're pretty settled, and exit day is really just kind of a wrap-up. You're putting a bow on a season. If you're the Miami Heat and you kind of know what's going on, if you're LeBron, you kind of know going in that you have some control of this thing. But in most cases, especially for teams that finish under 500, and there's some flux going on. That Utah Jazz team is deep into transition. They're deep into rebuilding. And there are a whole lot of jerseys that will not go back up again next year. So, yeah, I would imagine that it was a bit uncomfortable and a bit unnerving for the folks in Utah when you leave on exit day after a 25, 26-win season.
And can you imagine what it was like in Los Angeles? Because that's a team and a franchise that never deals with what's going down right now. And I'll bet that would have been bizarre to have a camera in that locker room.
Yeah, I mean, because there are guys that quite frankly, there's a lot of self-esteem issue going on with the Lakers.
Yeah.
If you're a player that got a lot of playing time this year because of the situation, you've got veteran guys that may or may not return. You've got some young guys that got time. But they really were auditioning for both the Lakers and the rest of the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That locker room in LA was a little bit different, just as it's a little bit different for the Clippers than it has been. Interesting enough, it must be that Freaky Friday thing in LA land where one day somebody made a wish and they flip-flopped the Lakers and the Clippers locker rooms.
Yeah.
Now it's the Laker locker room that has to go through a 26-27 win season, and the other guys are getting ready for the playoffs.
As we get into the playoffs, who are you liking? And I think I know who you're going to say, but who do you like this year?
Well, I'm gonna start with a little bit of loyalty, and uniquely so, because it would be one of the few upsets that I would pick in this playoff, in the first round of the playoffs. But I'm going to pick the Washington Wizards to beat the Bulls.
Wow.
Well, it's 4 versus 5, so it's not really that much of a reach, and it's a better matchup for Washington. They won 2 or 3 games against the Bulls. So
I like the Wizards over the Bulls myself.
Yeah,
really?
I think that's not. I mean, for an offensive team that can't score, the Bulls can't score. They just can't. Their leading scorer comes off the bench, and the Wizards, their best player is going to have the ball. And I think whenever that happens, there is an advantage to that team. I'd also pick Brooklyn. I'd take the Nets over Toronto.
Okay. I wanted to just add one thing to that Wizards over Bulls. I think that there is a cancer in the Bulls lineup, and I think that cancer is going to keep the Bulls from winning the first series.
Wow.
Wow, you really are in Utah, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
You really are.
That's why I said that.
And you certainly haven't forgotten.
And I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, but see, here's the thing. He's a guy that actually will serve them benefit. He's one of the factors. I mean, Boozer and Noah are 2 of the players that I think give them some advantage. There's experience in knowing how this playoff thing works. So I don't think that he hurts them in the series. I just don't think their guard play is good enough to give them an advantage enough over Bradley Beal and John Wall. And if for most basketball fans, they may know John Wall, but they don't know that Bradley Beal is the next guy.
Yeah.
And Bradley Beal's exceptional. And I think Nene and company will find a way. But yeah, you're right. I think you guys need to let up on Boozer. He's still playing in the playoffs. And everybody that hates them is watching.
Yeah, exactly. I think who'd you say with Boozer? Noah.
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 Yeah.
I would like to have seen Noah play with it.
I was going to say
or something.
Noah
So
is the best guy in their team without a doubt.
And wouldn't it be?
I don't think, Mick. I think you're not that far from it. Noah is not a cold weather guy, and they're going to have to throw a ton of money at him to keep him in Chicago, because everybody in the NBA, and I mean everybody,
wants him.
Wants Joakim Noah.
Yeah, cool. And that's going to be when the day is said and done. His story, I think, is going to be a really remarkable story in the NBA. And his
That's
whole
a great
life.
run from Florida, the heritage of your father, to Florida winning championships, to that Bulls team. And again, when D Rose comes back, that would be the great recruiter for him to stay. But other than that, yeah, there's a guy that everybody wants.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, no kidding. So in the West, anybody?
Well, I mean, the West.
Besides the Spurs?
I think the West resume speaks to volume. I don't think anybody's got a pair enough to pick Dallas over the Spurs.
No.
As much as I love Dirk Nowitzki, I just don't see him pulling that trigger. If you're going to look at an upset, and again, upsets are relative at this point, especially when you're talking about really, the 60. This is the Sweet 16. There aren't really upsets because you have to play several games. You can't just play one game and win. You've got to win a series. But if you're looking, you're going to look at Golden State and the Clippers and say that, well, if Curry and company get their shooting fingers hot over the course of 3 days, that's a problem.
Yeah, true.
That's a problem. And we've seen that Memphis gives everybody the blues in the first round of the playoffs. So if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, you didn't necessarily get the pick of the draw that you wanted. You don't want to have to fight Gasol and Randolph and those guys for that. So the West is interesting. I'm going to stick with the higher seeds, simply because I think that they're the better teams, and accordingly so. But if I was going to pick an upset, I would probably look at Golden State and say they'll get the Clippers.
Interesting. Yeah. So there you have it. When does the playoffs begin?
This weekend.
Yeah, they start tomorrow. You've got the Lakers, and you got the Clippers, and
Lakers.
Automatically, you got the Clippers and Golden State tomorrow. Memphis and Oklahoma City. The Hawks and the Pacers start tomorrow, and then the Nets who also I'm picking to beat Toronto. But the Nets in Toronto start tomorrow, and then everybody else jumps in Sunday.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Right on.
So you got it's that time, and folks haven't talked much about it, but yeah, that other league, the NHL, is already into its playoffs. So.
Yeah, they started this week. Red Wings
how about
tonight.
So who do you like as far as NHL goes? Is there a leader in the
Bruins
NHL?
for sure,
Bruins
probably.
for sure.
Well,
Blackhawks.
People want to look at it. I like Colorado. I like what they do. I like the Bruins, and I think the Bruins and the Red Wings, which is the series.
Yeah.
That is the series.
I can't believe that's the first round.
I would go that round.
Is it really the first round?
Yeah, like first game's tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, and the NHL just does such a good job of putting itself in a bubble and in a blanket. Nobody ever knows they're playing, and that's just a sad deal.
Yeah.
That's just terrible.
Real, I believe, is at home this weekend. Yeah, 7:30 game time, taking on Portland. Real still undefeated.
Early on. And I like RSL, so let's.
They're looking good when I see them on the field. And again, thank you, Channel 4, for showing us the games. This weekend will be on CW30 and ESPN 700 Radio. But when I look at the players on the field, our team just looks like pros going up against teams that maybe have one pro on their team. We just look so solid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that look, everything that's going on there in Utah works for me. You built the stadium, the fan base is built, the players have built some legacy, and they've connected with the community, and then that makes other great players want to be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the part that people outside of pro sport misses. At some point, you've got to have guys on the team that not only connect to the community, but also, I mean, when you've got a standard bearer, and you can look at a guy like Robbie Finley, and you know that it's a known name, there's resume, he's got continual success. That's everything, and that makes other great players want to come aboard and be a part of what's going on.
Yeah, so true. So true. Nick Raimondo was at the final Jazz game the other night, sitting right down by the court, and if he was just a little taller, I think he'd get some more balls.
Well, I mean, I think that
he's a little guy, man. He's so good. He's such a nice guy too.
Well, but you've got guys like Wingard who have been there.
Yeah, and Nat Borchers has been there.
Roots. Yep, they've planted roots. They've done outreach. All that stuff's necessary to have a team that actually belongs to the community, and a little bit different than that other team in town where these guys make an effort to be known, and the club makes an effort for them to be known.
I agree with that completely.
Watched the number 2 net tender the other night, and he's good too.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's good. Yeah, Nick's got I think it's a groin injury.
Okay. Salt Lake Bees got a doubleheader in Tacoma tonight. Then they return home tomorrow, taking on Albuquerque. 6:35 is game time for your.
Yeah, they
Salt
got
Lake
rained
Bees.
out last night, and I do miss Klaukeisms and being able to hear that and be a part of that. I miss the Bees.
He's definitely Klauke's very good.
Yeah, Alan gets in quite a few Bees games. Are you going to be trying to make any of the Albuquerque games?
Absolutely.
Cool.
I will be there. Be there, get it?
Yeah,
I will be there.
You will
Okay.
be there.
Yeah. Okay. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Nice try. But yeah, so and then before you bounce, a couple of other things. One, if you haven't had a chance, go online and look at Pablo Larrazabo, who's playing at the Malaysian golf tournament.
Okay.
And at some point on one of the holes, a swarm of wasps and hornets got after him.
Oh no.
And he had to take off his shirt and run and jump into the lake because they attacked him so bad, and they stung him. He had to be treated.
No way.
Really?
It shows him running, and the caddies and all the other golfers are like, "Get in the lake, run and jump in the lake." And he jumps in. Well, he gets out, and they're treating him, and he goes back out to play, but he puts on the same shirt. Well, apparently they all hate that shirt
No.
because they got out of the game, so he had to
Came
borrow
after him
somebody else's
again.
shirt to finish the round. There's a pretty cool video online about it. I hate to laugh at somebody's
Oh,
misery.
no.
But yeah, it's Pablo Larrazabal, and I felt bad because I went through that once as a kid, and I immediately became 11 years old again, and panicked. So if you get a chance to watch that, and then UFC, you got a national TV fight night with Verdum and Brown But once again, I'll say this: Dana White is a genius. He's a marketing genius, and he has created the women's division is now on a national stage that Misha Tate and Liz Caramush will be I think it'll be the more watched, more talked about match on a great card.
I think you're definitely right.
Dana White has created, and if you didn't see his premiere of This Season's Tough, that's the best personality profile of people I've ever seen, to watch that round of 16 where they figure out who goes into the house. If you haven't seen it, if you didn't see it, go and find it on demand or whatever it is that can be done. It's the best presentation of personality profiles, because it makes you sit, you look at the people without knowing who they are, and you try to figure out who's going to win fights with just based on personality profiles and such. And I guarantee you, if you watch that thing, you'll be amazed at how little you know about what makes an athlete good.
Cool.
Right on.
All right,
Good
DP.
stuff.
Thank you so much, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, guys, you too.
See you, bro.
It's Mick and Al, KBER 101.
This is DP, and thanks for listening to this week's edition of DP Talking Sports. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Enjoy, and I will see you guys next week.